Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the fact that I just purchased a car during the quote-unquote car market collapse, and I'm going to explain why I purchased the car, the deal I got on this car, and yeah, basically just talk through everything. But as always, before we get into the video, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below, and if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post this content every single day. Let's get into it. So before we dive into the details, I have to quickly show you guys the car that we're going to be talking about. Now, if you want to see a full review on this car, just go to the main Ben Hardy channel where I will have a review posted sometime today or the next day. But yeah, Shelby GT500 2022, just bought it brand new. And it's pretty crazy that I purchased a car while everything is like on fire in the car market. But once I explain everything, you guys will understand. What you need to understand is I only purchase cars if it's going to be a really good deal for myself because, well, I don't want to lose a bunch of money on cars. It's really important that that doesn't happen because I own a lot. I've got a Gen 3 Ford Raptor right now. I also have that Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392, and well, my wife's car's not here, but it's a Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. And so with how much money I have, quote unquote, invested in cars, even though cars aren't an investment, it's important that I buy stuff that I'm not going to be super upside down on compared to what I paid for it. And so that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. But let me know what you guys think about this GT500 if you're a fan of this type of car, if you're like, not really my cup of tea. Let's dive into this whole GT500 purchase. The first question that I want to answer is, why did I pick the GT500? Because there's a lot of vehicles that I could have picked, like, you know, a Dodge Challenger Hellcat or maybe a Camaro ZL1. And well, the first reason is because of production numbers. Ford's not going to build that many of these GT500s. It has a hand-built engine, and well, Ford just wants to keep this vehicle special. And so limited numbers with a special car like this means that resale value is going to be really strong. And on top of that, Ford has already announced that they are not going to be building a 2023 GT500. And after the 2023 model year for the Mustang, we're getting a completely new body style. And with this new body style, it does not have a GT500 yet. Now, Ford could potentially release a new GT500 with this new body style, but we don't know at this point. So there's a chance that this could be the last GT500 that has, you know, what the GT500 is famous for, a supercharged V8. And so the resale value in the short term and in the long term with this car is going to be really strong, and that's very appealing to me. Now, the next few reasons are more personal. First off, I'm just a huge Mustang fan. I always have been. I owned a GT350 a few years ago, and I still to this day regret selling that car. Even though it wasn't my favorite color combination on the GT350, it was a red car with white stripes. I loved how that car sounded and also how it drove. Just an absolute blast. And so the GT500, right, being kind of like the more extreme version of that, well, it makes sense for me to go for it. And then on top of that, I just love how the car drives. It is insanely quick. Even though it does not have a manual transmission, it's a 7-speed dual clutch, it's still really exciting to drive. And so not only is this a car that is going to hold its value really well and potentially go up in value, it's a car that I can also enjoy while it does that. Now, the next part of this GT500 deal is the fact that I traded in my Ram TRX for this GT500, and it's also for a number of reasons. First off, the TRX is not limited in production like the GT500. Ram's advertising with the TRX is, if you want a TRX, we will build you a TRX, which I have a lot of respect for Ram for doing that because they're making it really affordable for enthusiasts to own. But emphasis on the affordable part, that means that the Ram TRX just isn't holding its value like I initially thought and like a lot of other people thought because, well, the vehicle it competes against, the Ford Raptor, has always held its value really well. And so with me being, you know, really in tune with what's happening in the market, and especially the TRX market, I saw that the values were going to continue to drop and at a much faster rate within the next little bit. And so I'm like, you know what? I've had this truck for almost 2 years at this point. I've filmed all the content that I can film. I've absolutely like used and abused the truck. I might as well get out now while the values are still high, while I can still find a good buyer for the truck. Whereas if I wait any longer, then I'm just going to lose a ton of money on the truck. And well, that's exactly what I did. And then the other part of it is the fact that I happen to own 3 other vehicles that all do something similar to the TRX. Not exactly the same, but similar. So I have a Gen 3 Ford Raptor, which pretty much does the exact same thing as the TRX. Yes, it doesn't have a V8 and it's not nearly as fast, but it is just as capable, if not more capable, when it comes to off-road, and that's where I really appreciate the TRX and the Raptor. And then I have a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. which also does off-roady stuff, different than the TRX, but it's also an off-roader. And then I have a 4Runner TRD Pro, again, another off-road vehicle. And so I, love off-roading, but personally it's gotten to the point where I want something a little bit different from a driving perspective when I do my, daily commutes and all that. And that's also kind of where the GT500 comes into place, and why it doesn't really make sense for me to have the TRX at this point, because 3 other off-road vehicles is already a lot. That leads me into discussing why I did this deal now. Why didn't I do it, a few months ago, and why am I not instead waiting and doing this in a few months when, car prices are potentially going to be lower? So first off, the reason that I didn't do it a few months ago is because there were still huge market adjustments on GT500s with most Ford dealers. Yes, there are some Ford dealers that never mark up their cars, but those Ford dealers have waiting lists on cars like the GT500 that are miles long because they don't charge any sort of market adjustments. And so, yeah, I could have maybe gotten a little bit more money for my TRX had I done this deal a few months ago, but I would have also paid so much more money for the GT500 that it wouldn't have been a good deal for me overall. Now, when it comes to waiting to do this deal in the future, well, it wouldn't have worked out for a couple of reasons. First reason, the TRX would have lost even more value, and so I would have gotten a worse deal overall because I would have gotten a lot less for the TRX. And then the next part is the GT500 has been discontinued. There are a few more that are going to roll into dealership showrooms over the next few weeks and potentially the next couple of months, but most of them are already spoken for because everyone knows at this point the GT500 has been discontinued. So the chances of me getting one are really slim. And then on top of that, I wouldn't have been able to get any more discount compared to what I got on this deal, because I can't say the exact number that I got, but it was a really, really good deal for a GT500 considering everything that's happening in the market. And so I got in at the best possible time because I got top dollar for my truck and I paid bottom dollar for the GT500. Now, does this make me a hypocrite because I've been telling you guys for the last couple months to probably not buy a car right now because the market's super volatile, and then I just went out and purchased a vehicle? And the short answer is no, because I did exactly what I've been telling you guys to do for the last couple months, and that is take a step back, analyze the market, and wait for a deal to happen. And once that deal happens, you jump on the deal and you pay in cash so you can get around the crazy interest rates. And that's exactly what I did with this GT500. I am not taking out a loan on the car. I paid for the car in full. And so I don't have, a 6 or 7% interest rate on the car. And on top of that, like I discussed earlier in the video, I went from a vehicle that was losing value consistently to a vehicle that is not losing value like the rest of the market. So I'm in a much better situation. I mean, literally right after I traded in my Ram TRX, I looked up the retail values again and they dropped by like $5,000 on most trucks. And so it's like, yep, that was definitely a good decision. And so, like I said, be patient, take a step back, analyze the market, and once a deal pops up, jump on that deal before it's too late. Throughout this video, I have mentioned that the GT500 is a car that's going to hold its value really well or potentially go up in value because it's limited edition, it's an enthusiast-based car, and it's been discontinued. However, it's not an investment. Cars are not investments. They are generally a depreciating item. Some of them don't depreciate as much as others. But at the end of the day, I am going to be driving this car, and as I drive this car, it's going to lose value. Even if the values of the GT500s go up, well, if you're actively driving a car, then it's actively losing value. And so I know that this video might get some people hyped up into, go and buy cars as quote unquote investments, but you got to remember, it's a car, it's not an investment. Sometimes you can drive cars for free and sometimes you can make money on cars, but you're never going to see anyone that's like the Warren Buffett of cars, where they've made so much money on cars that people are now, building car portfolios, right? That's just not something that happens. That is pretty much going to sum things up for today's video, and I want you guys to let me know what you think about this whole GT500 purchase, if you're about it or if you think that it was a bad idea. But overall, I'm obviously all about it because I just got out of a vehicle that's about to tank in value and traded it for something that is going to do the exact opposite. So just a smart decision overall. And I hope that this shows all of you that I'm actually taking an active role in the car market. I'm not just giving advice on how to buy cars and then me myself am not actually doing anything. And I think that's a big problem with these car videos on YouTube is you have all these people that are telling you how to buy a car and what to do, but they're not going into dealers and actually actively buying cars. Whereas like I'm literally buying a car every 3 to 6 months. And I'm doing so in a way to where I'm not losing boatloads of money. Like, I would not have the cars that I have if I was losing a ton of money. Over the last several years that I've been doing this whole buying and selling car things, I've actually been making money, and it's crazy because I'm actually using these vehicles. If you go watch the videos on my main channel, I use and abuse the cars. Like the Ram TRX, I jumped that truck like probably 50 times. And so the fact that I was able to get any money out of the truck is absolutely surprising. And so, yeah, just hopefully that shows you guys that unlike the other car advice people, again, not financial advice, but car buying advice people, I'm actually doing what I'm telling you guys to do. That'll sum things up. I'll see you.